many cases how the police, treat so-called minorities. But again, in most areas of this country, whites are already a minority. Within 5 years, whites will officially be a minority. But still, I'll be blamed for everything under the sun. So, briefly, give us your take on what really happened.
Well, I mean, in my personal experience with the police, it is really a shoot first, ask questions later mentality among the police. And so, although
Are you there? We didn't hang up on you. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
You got somebody calling you on call waiting. Go ahead and finish up.
All right. Basically, my take on it is I've seen the way police act around here, and I know the mentality of the police in many places around the St. Louis area. I mean, you have certain different municipalities in St. Louis County that are notorious for being, having that almost police gang mentality that they have. I'm certainly not condoning the fact that, they're the lowest common denominator is running around with their pants around their ankles, burning Quick Trip to the ground, doing this, that, and the other thing. Nobody is saying that that's okay. But Ferguson is...
Yeah, well, here's the deal. If somebody comes and tries to burn my house or my business down, I'm going to shoot them deader than a hammer, because burning something down can kill innocent people, and it's my property. And it's not because they're black. And I'm going to tell you something, too. I'm not going to enjoy killing people, but my instincts to do the right thing are there. I cannot be run over. Now, if a bunch of paramilitary police show up to take me to a FEMA camp during martial law, something's going to happen. I mean, I'm done with criminals of any type. But go ahead.
Yeah, well, that's you're exactly right about that. I mean, that's the unraveling of our society, that it's become that. You have the media endorsing and glamorizing the thug culture, and so therefore, what do black kids without dads at home, what are they going to think? They're automatically going to think, this is the way to the top. I have to be either a rapper, I have to be a sports star, I have to be this, I have to be that, or else I'm nothing.
Yeah, not that I can own a lawn business and have 20 people under me and make $500,000 a year. Not that I can own a pool company and have 50 people under me and make $1 million profit a year. Or, not that I can start a restaurant and, then build another one and then be middle class. All these young people, literally, not just black people, believe they're going to be a movie star or something, and it's delusional. And then meanwhile, remember a few years ago, in St. Louis, they had regular army rolling around getting ready for martial law. They've actuaried out different regions. They know where the hot spots are, and they're getting ready for collapse in places like East St. Louis and pre-deploying all these armored vehicles, and they're now rolling more of them in, but saying, oh, it's for Homeland Security. Armored Humvees, the MRAPs, Bradley fighting vehicles, Warrior fighting vehicles. They're going to set the precedent. If Obama could start a race war and get poor black people to run around and burn stuff, to roll in and crush them, and then the precedent will be set with all the illegals pouring in and the rest of it. I'm telling you, I've been saying this all week and last week. They are trying to get this country to blow up right now. I appreciate your call. It's a very frustrating time to be, witnessing all this. Very frustrating time to be alive, because the military are stuck in the rock in a hard place. The police are, the citizens are. We're all being manipulated here. We're all being manipulated by the globalists who are controlling the stimuli in an experiment, testing to see what's going to happen. And then using the de-evolution of society as a pretext for more control. It's all been planned. I'm going to get to that in a moment after calls, but they're on record arming ISIS, folks. And again, they don't run them. They protect them. They open the door for them. Just like if I had 100 piranhas and I fed them, and trained them to eat at a certain time every week in a freshwater pool, and then I trick some 3-year-old kid to jump in the pool. I don't run the piranhas. They don't take orders from me. They know on Sunday morning at noon, I feed them. And so it's Sunday morning at noon, and they're all waiting, getting excited, biting each other, swimming around in a big swarm, and I get the 3-year-old neighbor, come on over here, get in the pool. And that's Al-Qaeda, folks. They've bred them, they run them, they feed them, they don't control them. But with Pavlovian conditioning, they know when it's feeding time. And God help us Because Lindsey Graham says they're getting ready to blow everything up, and they're allowed to operate on Twitter and Facebook and YouTube, but I get kicked off all the time for no reason. Navy SEALs expose Benghazi, they get kicked off. Navy SEALs had a polite Facebook, remember last year, exposing Benghazi, and had little memes exposing what happened, and Facebook kicked them off over and over again. We tried to send their stuff out when they did that, and we got suspended for a week. Navy SEALs don't have free speech in America, but ISIS does. I mean, that's what we're talking about here, ladies and gentlemen. This country's going to hell in a handbasket. Dennis in Minnesota, you're on the air. Go ahead. Denise, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm calling about the police state, and I'm middle-aged, and a friend of mine and I decided to go on a road trip on Saturday, and we drove down into, farm country, rural farm country in Minnesota, went and did our thing, and then we were coming home, and it was about 9:30 at night, out in the middle of nowhere, driving on a country road. And all of a sudden, I see this car coming up behind me super, super fast. Like, I almost thought he was going to run into me, right? And we get up to a stop sign, and the lights go on. It's a sheriff. And so I go through the stop sign, pull over, roll down my windows. He comes up and says, do you know why I pulled you over? I looked at my friend, and she looked at me. I said, no. He said, do you know what the speed limit is? I said, yes. Told him what it was. He said, well, I clocked you at going such and such. And I didn't say anything, and he was wrong. He was wrong. I wasn't speeding. I knew it. She knew it. I knew it. Then he says to me, where are you going? I said, home. Where were you? I said, the name of the town we were at. And then he says, do you have your driver's license and your proof of insurance? And I said, yeah, and I was fumbling around looking for my proof of insurance, and I gave it to him. And what was the nature of your trip?
But then you told him I'm an illegal alien, he got you a free bus and some money and said bye-bye?
My friend almost said, after he left, she said, you should have just hit the Florida and East, Thelma and Louise, and gone away. But I was like...
No, but listen, I mean, the issue is they're tailored to go after the general public now and get us in the system and basically martial law light. But then, as I'm saying, it's all illegitimate. They're funding Al-Qaeda, the border's open. And you drive through all these weird jurisdictions where it might be a nice police, nice sheriffs. You go into another area, it's a bunch of crooks. Go into another area, it's a mix. It's Russian roulette, and it's so creepy. I mean, there are Texas towns where they take the money out of your wallet and then brag about it on TV. So how did it all end? He just kept asking you the little secret police questions.
Yeah. And I knew, based upon listening to you and other people and everything, that I just needed to keep my mouth shut, be polite, go on my merry way, right? But I felt so invaded and so angry. Number one, I was not speeding, and I knew it, and so did my friend. And the fact that he thought he had the right to ask me whatever he wanted to, and it was like they were scripted questions.
Well, I mean, the larger issue is the country's gone, and they're destroyed as well. So I hope they enjoy it because, this country deserves judgment, and we're going to get it. And so there's a lot of police who know the truth, but there's a lot of police that, think harassing women with no criminal records is the way to go. I see news articles all the time, speaking of Missouri, which is really bad. A lot of the police departments, the state police and others, even though I've been sent some good stuff by the state police up there before, it's very authoritarian. And you pull up to mainline checkpoints on major highways, and they come over and go, I'm going to search your car, get out. People say I have a Fourth Amendment. They'll drag you out and just flip out and say, don't film me and all this other stuff. And they're scary. And it's all federal grants. And those cops need to know they're being trained to do this because the country's going to be destroyed. And they're being prepared to carry out, the end of America, folks. So, and it's not to protect the country. You know, I got a bunch of other callers. Some of them have been holding 40 minutes, 19 minutes, 12 minutes, 6 minutes. I'll try to get to a few more, but I've got to hit this news because I promised to. Here's the headline, Infowars.com. Lindsey Graham tells Obama, go to war in Iraq or American cities will burn in flames. He's the same guy that said, launch it, attack Syria or Al-Qaeda will nuke the East Coast. Remember that? When our government's arming Al-Qaeda. We have to attack Al-Qaeda's enemy in Syria or they'll get us. And maybe he meant the deal with Saudi Arabia is that they'd turn into Iraq and attack us if we didn't do it. I mean, this is getting weird. But that video's up on Infowars.com. U.S. starts providing weapons to Kurdish forces in Iraq report. Just like they provided weapons to Al-Qaeda so everybody can kill each other. Kurds did nothing to us, deserve all this. Christian brothers and sisters, did you know your government is supporting Islamic terrorists? Big article up on Infowars.com. Showing all the proof on that from Washington's blog. Obama's out golfing and vacationing as usual. The Turkish presidential election basically made this guy even more of a dictator. You can have elected dictators that then abolish the old system. I've got a big stack of articles here dealing with political correctness. This is out of Egan News. Superintendent on snack rules says it's asinine. We don't have enough teachers now and have to hire food police, and now they're saying they can't even have bake sales that associate and give money to the school, even if it's private groups, because under federal regulations you can't have any type of cake being sold, and then it's all Michelle Obama running it. Again, that's a real free country where the dictator tells you what you eat. District stops federal lunch program over all this. That's out of Cincinnati, because they said the lunches were so bad and made kids sick. It's not that they were even healthy either. They're like full of aspartame and stuff. ESPN suspends host for domestic abuse story. I read this morning and thought, oh, what, did he beat his wife? No. No. Years ago, he said a girlfriend hit him, so he hit her back. So for being honest, California debates yes means yes sex law. AP, the feminists basically say all sex is rape. Men inherently are evil unless you marry the state. That's your man. And so now even if a woman says yes to sex on record, at any time she can decide it's rape and put you in prison. So that's just a way so women can set men up. It's pretty incredible how screwed up this country is, isn't it? White students no longer to be majority in school, AP. That's right, all over the country, folks. Whites are no longer the majority in children. And, I mean, whatever, that's fine with me. It's just that I'm sick of hearing me fall on a banana peel. It's my fault because I'm white. And inherently, that my ancestors, came up with quantum mechanics, the stock market, and most of science. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for the Renaissance. Sorry for Beethoven. Sorry for everything else. I mean, a lot of evil came out of Europe as well. But, I mean, look everywhere else. Just humans are humans. But I'm proud of Western civilization. And the globalists want it erased. And so hope everybody enjoys basically living in the third world. Because, the Western civilization's turned into the technocracy. It's breaking away and going to Alpha Centauris. We're to be wiped out here. So just hope everybody enjoys that. But Tony Stewart hits and kills driver on upstate track. I've seen the video. Looks pretty damn deliberate to me. He reportedly threatened to do this to somebody else before. But they say no criminal charges are being looked at right now. So, again, say you slapped your girlfriend back once. When she slapped you, you're going to, get suspended or lose your job. But I guess people like Tony Stewart, so it's not going to be happening there. Steal $1 billion, get made president. Steal a stick of bubble gum, but put in prison. That's how it's always worked. So we're out of time. Sorry, the rest of the callers. I wanted to overdrive to do that. Some other news up on Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. ExxonMobil ignores sanctions, begins drilling in Russian Arctic. Concerns about adverse impact of sanctions rising in Europe. Well, I mean, Halliburton operated in Iran during all the sanctions and Iraq. The top globalist 10 corporations or so, Exxon's number 2, under Walmart. Number 3, so now it's under Apple, that's right. All the top guys don't follow anything. I mean, Apple has literal death camps, suicide nets, forced abortions, Black Op Command, hell bases. They're liberal. We love them.
We're
They're
on the
trendy.
march.
They're